Well, hello there, friends and family. So what are we up to today? Well, we're out here at the blueberries. And we got to pick them again, because once they start ripening, it becomes an everyday thing. And while I was out here picking, I thought we'd go over a few things about blueberries as well as figs. Now you might wonder why that is. Well, I've had a viewer request for a video from one of our viewers and a very good friend of mine up in North Carolina. And that'd be Rick and his wife. And she's real interested in getting some blueberries and some figs. So they've requested that I do a video about mine. Now granted, I'm no expert. And over the years, I've learned a few things or two. And as y'all can see, I'm fairly successful here at the old home place. Now all that being said, that don't make me no expert, okay? And I'll discuss, what I have, and I'll give you a little advice on what you should do if you're planning on putting in some blueberries or figs here in the near future. So stay with me and we'll talk about all this as we pick a few blueberries. Now, figs aren't ready yet. That'll come later, probably around mid to end of July. We'll go over there, have a little chat about figs too, with me and the Kitty Krew, which aren't too far away. In fact, if you look out there, about in the middle of blueberries, and there's Cleo, and there's Magoo. They're never too far away. They're sort of having a disagreement at the moment. Probably about who's going to help Papa pick blueberries. Right, Cleo? Cleo, is Magoo bothering you? He is, huh? Okay, well go find your kitty. Take care of her, okay? So, we got a little bag tied to our belt. And as you can see, we're picking some fine blueberries here. Yep, and the reason you're gonna know they're ready to pick, I just lost that one, is because they just come freely off. As you saw, that one dropped slap out of my hand. Yeah, looking nice. And we're just going to dump them in our little picking bag. Then we got to head on up in here, get some more and that. So, as I've said in previous videos, these blueberries that I have happen to be a rabbit eye high bush type. Yep, they are. Now, why is that important? Well, the reason that's important, first of all, Mr. Tom, he's in the south, deep south. But that don't mean much. Now, I could be up in North Alabama, lived there quite some time, North Georgia, Southern Tennessee. And my parents retired up in the Carolinas, around Fletcher and Etowah. So this all goes for the same as here. Now, if you're from the Northeast or up in the high mountain plains or mountainous regions, you're not going to see blueberries grow like this, way up into the sky, like small blueberry trees. What you're going to see is what they call lowbush blueberries, which are fairly low to the ground. You got to stoop over to get those. But those won't work here in the south. they'll just burn up and die. Yep, they will. They'll never make it. And that's what, you know, I'm from the Northeast. Most of my family, Pennsylvania, New York State, Canada, and then they spread out all over the U.S. Because we've been around this country since before the Revolutionary War. Am I doing a good job, Cleo? What do you think? Will you get any of the ones that fall? They're good for you and your kitty, okay? So you got to pick the right variety for your area and growing region. And you might say, well, how do I find that out, Mr. Tom? Well, my best advice is to get with your cooperative extension service. Yep. Because they'll know what varieties grow well in your area. Yep. Don't go down to the big box store and buy whatever they have on sale. No, don't do that. I did that. And that don't always work out. Okay? Trust me, it won't. You might have some success, or you might just waste all your money. As you can see, getting a whole lot of berries here. Yep, got a green one there, Cleo. Papa messed up. Yeah, it's sort of hard picking berries and talking to the people, ain't it, Cleo? Right? Anytime you want to pick up one of those spare picking bags up on the porch, you're more than welcome to, Cleo. So like I said, these are rabbit eye high bush varieties. Specially grown, raised, and developed so we southerners can have our blueberries too. Yep. Ooh, they're looking fine. And I just picked these yesterday evening, like I told you I was. And that's why I'm telling you, once these start making, it's game on. And if you don't get out here and do it, they'll just fall off on the ground. You've already seen me drop a few, because these are coming right off these bushes just so easily. I'm not even tugging. I just have to tickle them a little bit with those fingers, and they drop right off my hand. Yep. And of course, I've knocked several off on the ground, like right there. Oh, I got one right there I knocked off. Here's some more right here. Yep. The bag's already getting heavy. We ain't been doing this for what? Five minutes or more. That's just the way of it. So, now that you know, you gotta find the variety, well, and type, works well in your area, and where I recommend you do that is your extension service, or even one of your land grant agricultural universities, like we have Auburn here. That's our main agricultural university. I'm sure you have one in your state too. You know, like Rick and his wife, they're up in North Carolina. Now, right off the top of my head, I don't remember what their particular ag university is called. I dropped another one. These are just, I should have picked these this morning instead of this afternoon. But I was busy doing other things. And I lost one. Oh, there it is. So, we're doing it now. I'll still miss a few. Maybe it'll still be here for tomorrow. Maybe not. So like I said, I'm sure I'm getting redundant. These are rabbit eye high bush. Now another reason that's important, see, we don't get real cold, long winters here in the south. So we gotta have blueberry variety that has what they call low chill hours. That's when the temperature is cold. Right off the top of my head, I don't know how cold that is. I may or may not remember correctly, but I think that's below 40. And here where I'm at, we don't get many of those days. So you got to make sure in your area you get a blueberry that has the right amount of chill hours for your growing season. Now you go up around northern New York State, you get a lot of chill hours, especially around where I was born. You know, Tonawanda, Buffalo, those areas. And they get a lot of snow. So then you're going to get into those what they call lowbush, northern type blueberries. For North Carolina, you're going to want low chill blueberries too. So, what variety do I have right here? Well, I have two, and there's a reason for that too. I have a powder blue, and because powder blue is one of the few rabbit eye varieties that require a pollinator, I have to have some Brightwell or some Tiff Blue to use as a pollinator. Now most rabbit eye varieties don't require a pollinator, but powder blue does. Now these powder blue have chill hours 350 to 400 chill hours, if I remember correctly. Let me get out my little notes so I don't tell you all wrong. 350 to 400 chill hours. And these berries, they ripen between June and July. And as y'all have seen in my videos, we've been picking a few of these, snacking on them. But now, we're picking a pile of them. And will be for the remainder of the season. So, the powder blue, like I say, are the only rabbit eye variety I know that needs a pollinator. So I had to get me some pollinator blueberries, at least one. I figured if one was good, two was better. So that's what I did. And originally, I only bought 6 blueberry plants. There's a whole bunch more here than 6. Because they sprout up new ones based on the berries dropping. Plus they'll come out and sprout through the roots. Yep. Well, let me get up off my knees here and look around this plant. I think we got most of those. But we got this next one. So I got originally 4 powder blue and 2 Brightwells as pollinators. And that was 8 growing seasons ago. And that's something else I want to talk about. If you go to a nursery or a big box store and you buy you some little stick, stick it in a little pot, what they call a 1-year-old plant, it's going to be a while for you're picking blueberries like this. In fact, it's going to be a long while. Just take my word for that. And if you're my age, or close to it, I would suggest, if you want blueberries and fruit on your place, I definitely wouldn't do that. What I would do is I would buy 3 to 4-year-old plants. They'll be potted in 8-inch to 12-inch pots. And they're going to be pricey. But you're not going to have to wait 4 years to be picking blueberries like this. Now, if you don't mind the wait and you're a young one, then by all means, go cheap. Hold on a minute, my bag fell off. Okay, we're back. The darn picking bag got so heavy, it pulled down off my belt. I pulled my trousers off. That would have been a little embarrassing out here at the house, wouldn't it? Because we are in the front yard. So, my advice would be to get 3 or 4-year-old plants. Now, when you go to plant them, it's simple. You want to dig a hole that's deep enough to set them in up to the original depth they are in the pot that they came in. The second thing you're going to want to do, and this is especially important based on soil conditions, you're going to want to make sure that hole is at least 2 to 3 times the diameter of the root ball. Yep, you are. Nice loose soil. Put you in some good premium potting soil in there, and that to give them a good head start. So those roots are going to expand out and grow nice and healthy. It's just sort of like a house. If the foundation is not sound, which is the root system in any plant, then the house will not be stable and stand the test of time. That's the same way it is about plants. I keep getting handful after handful. You see those? Ooh my. Hence why my bag keeps falling off my belt. Already weighs a couple of pounds. Nice to know you're helping, Magoo. Yep. Magoo, he's not much on picking blueberries. Of course, neither is Cleo. So the other variety I have here, like I said, is the Brightwell. And the only reason I got that was to pollinate the powder blue. Now its chill hour requirements, which here again, even though it's only a pollinator, is 500, 600 hours, a little bit more. And actually, for here in Deep South, that puts it out there at the maximum limit that I could have, and it still make blueberries. Because if the blueberries don't get enough chill hours, and this is true in any fruit, whether it be berries or tree fruits, apples, peaches, apricots, plums, you name it, you won't have any fruit. Nope. None at all. So you got to make sure about that. It's most important. Now, another thing you need to do about these blueberries, and you probably won't have this condition wherever you are planting. You might, but you'll need to check. Blueberries require a soil pH of 4.5 to 5.5. Yep. Where most vegetables require soil pH between 6 and 7. So wherever you're planting them, you're going to need to amend your soil to get that pH down. And in past garden walkabout videos, I've talked about some problems I'm having with these blueberries, which is the yellowing leaves with the green veins, which could be an iron deficiency, but more than likely the pH is off. And I checked that. I showed you that. The pH was too high. So I had to amend the soil with elemental sulfur to get that pH back down in the 4.5 to the 5.5 range. Extremely important. You might not think pH is real important, but unless you got the right pH, whether it's blueberries, tree fruits, veggies, or whatever, it can definitely lock up nutrients in the soil to where your plant can't utilize them. And that's just as true on blueberries as it is fruit trees and veggies. And I think as we've been picking this, because we're now on the third one, and I got many more to go, and we're picking them every day now, not counting the ones we miss that fall to the ground. Of course, with luck, they'll just make more blueberries. We just keep getting them. So here again, soil pH is key to being successful with blueberries. You got to keep it in that 4.5 to 5.0 range. And especially here in the south, and this would be true up in the Carolinas, I would think, keeping the soil mulched and moist and cool would be key too. Or at least that's what I've learned with growing them here at my place. So I put up several new bushes last year. And instead of doing what I learned, I did what they said. And they said put those out in full sun. And they were brand new variety. I'll say that right from the get-go. So that's what I did. And they were healthy plants. They were 4-year-old plants when I bought them. And they cost me a good chunk of change. And I put them in. I planted them right. I prepared the soil right. I fed them right. I watered them right. And because I put them in that full sun, they just burn up. Yep, they did. They didn't make it. Not a one. So I was out about, right at about $160 when it was all said and done. No, not too happy. And I could have blamed the grower for what he told me. Or even what I researched. And it done no good. They're not going to be responsible for it. They're just going to say something like, well, in your particular microclimate or area, you should have done this. See, that's what all the experts will say. We're sorry. In your particular area, you probably should have went with what you know instead of what we said. I've lived that far too many times. That's why I always tell y'all, no matter what old Mr. Tom tells you, take a look, do your own research in what your extension service, your universities say works good in your area. Not only for home gardeners, but I'm going to eat that one. I think I got part of the leaf there too, but that's okay, won't kill me. But so what works good for a commercial grower will also work good for the home gardener. But a lot of states and a lot of extension services and universities will have two different recommendations. And some of that's based on care and requirements. But I've been extremely happy with my choices. And when you see just what I got tonight in my bag, you'll understand why. Of course, we're not going to finish up picking now. We still got this one to go, and then go back through these others. Make sure we didn't miss none. But I hope you get my drift on this. If you're in the South, and you're in North Carolina, where Rick and his wife are, you're going to need rabbit eye high bush, not a low bush. In regards to what Walmart's selling, Lowe's, Home Depot, they don't have no experts buying for them and putting things out there because they're perfect for your region. They just put stuff out there for people to buy. It may work in your area, it may not. Trust me, I've lived all that 1,000 times or more. Southern, rabbit-eye high bush. Northern, low bush. And most of the time the northern varieties will say somewhere in the name northern. Sometimes they won't, because now they're having to come up with fancy names. But many times they will. And if you look at, and you go, well, that blueberry just looks cute, or that berry looks so big and plump and juicy, I'm going to try it anyway. Well, good luck with that. I don't buy anything because it looks cute or it looks unusual. Now, I do play with a few things, as y'all know. But those things I play with, I'm not dependent on eating. If they make, they make. If they don't, they don't. I don't get too upset. But if you're counting on stuff, I mean, you think about it. If this virus goes south and you can't run into your Publix, Safeway, Fred Meyer's, or whatever you have and buy stuff anymore, then trust me, this virus is far from over. Some of y'all out there may think it has. Trust me, it's not. And it could get way worse before it gets way better. You may be dependent on what you grow right there in your own front yard and backyard. Now I'm not, because I got so much darn food stocked up. It's unbelievable, and I hate to say that, because as soon as you do, I'm going to catch hell. That's just putting it politely. Oh, you'll get people out there, you're a hoarder. Oh my God, it's because of you. There's shortages, and the list goes on and that, but I was preparing for life for many a year before old COVID-19 came around. Of course, as I've told all of y'all, I never thought we'd have a global pandemic. Whether it's real or not, people are dying from something. I'll leave that up to y'all. So that's about all I got to say on blueberries. Pick the right variety. Get with your extension service or local land grant university. And normally they got all these resources online. In fact, for North Carolina, I'm going to leave a link to the Cooperative Extension Service where they recommend what blueberries work good up there for Rick and Lula, North Carolina. But like I said, I'm sure they got the same things. I know they got them in Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana. I'm sure they got it up there in Massachusetts, New York State, PA, and Arizona, California, wherever all of y'all are. Don't count them out. Don't depend on social media or YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest. Get with the people who do it for a living. You know, I used to do this for a living. Yep, sure did. I had berries, I had orchards, you know, I had a big vegetable truck farm. That's what we called it for. People thought it was cool to call it market gardening, market farming, farm to table. Yeah, It's called truck farming. And we grew every crop you can imagine. Vegetables and fruits, from berries to tree fruits to even nuts. Lord knows, I even raised fish. That was a long time ago. Now I'm just a little old retired man, trying to have a nice retirement on little to nothing, and survive and thrive. And of course, take care of the Kitty Krew. And Magoo, he just can't pick no more. He just slap out of it. And of course, always, whenever taking a break, Cleo's cleaning up. Isn't that the way the ladies always do? I remember my mama. We'd come in from being somewhere, whether it was shopping or anywhere. First thing she'd do in the car was whip out her little compact, check her makeup, make sure she still looked fine. Of course, she always did, but you know, she'd have to touch up. It's just the way. Ladies always want to stay looking their best. Us men, as you can see today, when I put my old puss on the camera, we ain't looking too great. We've been out here sweating, working all day long. So now we're going to come up, we're going to talk about pigs, which ain't much to talk about here. We only got one type and one bush. And I've had a hard time with pigs. And so, let's talk about that a minute. Oh, before we do, I gotta put this bag of blueberries down. It's weighing me down. So I'll show y'all. Let's come on over here to the porch. Let me set this down, because it's starting to drag my britches down. And that'd be quite embarrassing. Hold on. Well, I know it's hard looking in that bag. Just see how many are there. But at the end of the video, I'll pour them off into a container. Give you a little better view. It's right now about 2 pounds. Maybe more. Well, I'm not going to weigh them. Really don't matter. So, I'm going to get a little cold water. We'll come back and we'll talk about pigs. Okay? Well, y'all, we were taking a break before we talked about pigs. And I'm thinking Magoo here and Cleo. Well, they're taking their afternoon nap. And rightfully so. Old Mr. Tom should probably just curl up on the porch. Take one too. But I promised to do this video on blueberries and figs. And we still got to talk about pigs. So let's get to it. Maybe old Cleo and Magoo will wake up, come up, and add their 2 cents. Who knows? Now it is getting windy, so hopefully that ain't messing with the camera too much. We got the wind coming out of the northeast, which is rather peculiar for us, but it is rather cool. We'll take it. So I'll try to get here where my body blocks the wind. Now what you're seeing is what I refer to my fig bush. It's not going to be a fig tree. Now you can go to many YouTube sites and see a far better big old bushy fig tree. Well, this particular variety, little did I know, is never going to quite become that. Now right here in my neighborhood, there's some huge fig trees. Lord only knows what variety they are. And I'm going to try to get some cuttings off of them this fall and stick me about 3 or 4 more in along the back property line. Hopefully old Mr. Tom will live long enough to benefit from it. So let's talk about figs. You decide to come along too, Magoo? Add your 2 cents. You got anything to say about figs? Or you just gonna hold my feet down where I can't walk? What you say? Not much. Oh, and there's Cleo. They woke up. They're with us now. So now we can talk figs. So let me show you something here. We just come up under here. This is one branch. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figs on the end of that branch. Over here on this one, got one here, little one there. Here we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And everywhere you go, as you can see, it's the same situation. She's loaded up with figs. Now, those of you who watch my garden walkabout, you'll know I was a little bit concerned. Oh, here's 2 more. We got a bunch more up in there. And there, a bunch more in there, every end of the branch. But like I was saying, you'll know I was concerned that we weren't going to have no pigs this year because I was thinking they were late, but I was just getting impatient. And now it's got plenty of figs on the end of every branch. Because that's what figs do. Figs put on figs from new growth from last year. But the same criteria for figs is the same as it was for blueberries. If you want success with figs, you got to pick the right variety first. And like I said on the blueberries, the best way to go there is get with your cooperative extension service and your local land grant agricultural university in your state. And you may have 2. We do here in Alabama. Well, we have more than 2. We have Auburn, which is the largest, down here about 42 miles to the east from me. We have Tuskegee Institute, or Tuskegee University, 20-something miles to the south of me. And then we have Alabama A&M, up North Alabama, which used to be my father's go-to resource when I was growing up in North Alabama and lived in southern Tennessee. So that's the place to go to find out what figs do well in your area. Here again, I would ask about commercial and for home gardeners, and also ask the question, well, what's the difference? There's always going to be a difference, whether it's cultivation, requirements, what have you. So this particular variety here that we're looking at, and there's 4 figs right there in front of you, is what's called a Chicago Hardy fig. Now, I didn't get this from a big box store. And that's something I want to say here again on figs. If you want to buy one from Lowe's, Walmart, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, Dollar General, you go right ahead. Maybe you have good luck, maybe you won't. It's just always been my experience, been a crap shot. But I did my research. Now, why did I pick this one? After doing my research, I realized that figs were a subtropical bush or tree, and they will only survive to a certain temperature. And that temperature is somewhere between just below freezing to about 20 Fahrenheit, that is. A few varieties will get down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I knew here in my part of the deep south, even though it's extremely rare, it still happens, and it happened this year. We get temperatures down below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And we have had days in the past down below 10 degrees Fahrenheit, even though it's only for maybe an hour or two right before dawn. So that was one of my main considerations. Now, that all being said, you can grow figs further up north, but what they'll do is all this above ground growth right here, which you won't have growing up further north, it'll die back to the ground. Then next spring, it'll resprout from the rootstock. And that year, not in the spring, but in the fall, you'll get small harvest figs. Now what you're looking at is my late spring to summer crop. This particular fig variety, Chicago Hardy, and many others, will actually have 2 crops per year. Yep. Under the right conditions, in the right growing area, they'll actually have the spring crop, which you see now, right there. That'll ripen, and we'll harvest them, i.e. we'll eat them. And then later on, in the early to mid-fall, it'll set more fruit. That'll mature and ripen, and we'll harvest it too. Yep, sure will. And that was important too. So, the winter survivability temperature was real important for me, as was the fact that I could get 2 crops off this fig every year. Now, I really enjoy my figs, and they're one of those treats like back in the day when couldn't go in the store and buy apples every single day of the year, or oranges, or peaches, nectarines, whatever. Nowhere were there in season. And figs are only here in season 2. But because I chose right, I have 2 chances to enjoy my figs every year, because I picked the right variety. Now, this particular variety, because we had a very early frost, or late frost, and it got down in the low 20s. This spring, it did have some tip dieback, but that's all pretty much been trimmed off. New growth came out, and I was extremely worried when that happened, and it's done fine. But the things you want to understand about a fig, here again, how old of a plant you get is very important. If you want to pick up one of those little sticks in those boxes at one of the big box stores, I know you all seen them. I see them all the time, Walmart, Tractor Supply, and what have you. That's a 1-year cutting, rooted. And it's going to be a few years before you see a fig, if indeed it grows and survives. And this particular Chicago Hardy that I have here was a 3-year-old potted plant that I bought. And I bought it from a nursery somewhere up in Illinois. Can't even remember when now, because I've had this thing for 10 years. And it may not look like it, but this variety here is only supposed to grow and mature out to best 10 to 12 feet. And for me, that was another issue. I didn't want a tree where I'd be getting up on a ladder. I wanted to try to get a bush where I could stand on the ground and pick them. So for me, this one works out just fine. And we really enjoyed these figs last year. And again, you plant it at the same depth that the bush or tree was in the pot. No deeper, no shallower. Here again, make your planting hole at least 2, if not 3 times the size of whatever pot that it comes in. On a 3-year-old plant like this, it's going to come in a 8-inch to 10-inch to 12-inch pot. So you got to dig a rather large hole. And then you're going to want to mend it well with either some really good potting soil or some of your own compost, native soil, peat moss, what have you. But the key to keeping figs growing anywhere is understanding the root system. The roots on figs are very, very shallow. And even though I have yet to do it yet, I keep this one mulched down extremely heavy during the summer months. And you can see what's left over down here from last year. And most of it's decayed. It was leaf clippings and grass clippings that I had piled around it. At times it was a foot deep. And then by late fall, I let it go to decay. Now, because the root system is so shallow, that mulch is what keeps this alive here in the south and deep south. You know, it's just like mulching my other plants. What am I trying to do? Conserve soil moisture. Yep. If I could dig down in this with my hand, you'd see the roots are just barely underneath the surface. And they do go down 6, 10, 12 inches. The second thing, keep that soil cool. Keep the temperature off. Dry soil and hot soil will stress out your plants. Same is true with a fig. So no difference than what I'm doing with my vegetable plants. And once I get some more mulch that I can divert to this, which will be in my next mowing, this will get all mulched out too, and you'll see it. It's already been fertilized, which is another key thing. Keeping it fertilized. You fertilize it in the late winter to early spring. You don't want to fertilize too early, or it'll bud out early, and then all that new growth will be killed by a late frost. And in a way, that's what sort of got me this year. I fertilized too late last year. So my little fig here woke up way too early. My bad, and that's why I was really sweating bullets. But it recovered. Sort of think that was by God's grace. Having a little bit of sympathy on old Mr. Tom. And now it looks like we're going to have, quite a harvest off of this. Now these figs don't get real large. They get about, half a dollar size. But, oh my Lord. You talk about sweet. Yes, sir. I mean, these are smack your mouth sweet. They're about 3 bite size. Good enough for me. I'm not into massive fig production. I'm just trying to learn how to do the best fig production. And I don't claim to be an expert, folks. I've learned a lot over the years with this old fig bush. I've had my disappointments and I've had my struggles. And I've learned a lot in the progress. But as you can see, it's doing quite nicely. And I would I like to think that's because of my initial research and the variety I selected. For my growing area. That's the best advice I can give to you. Now, keeping this thing watered is essential during the dry, hot summer months. Yep, pigs are a water hog. Mostly because that root system is so shallow, right up towards the top. So keeping some heavy mulch down is definitely going to save you on the water. This ain't something you walk out and drop about 5 minutes of hose attention on. No. In fact, when I water this bad boy, I bring the hose out and I turn it on slow flow, and I move it all the way around this perimeter. Oh, about every 15 inches I set it down and I let it sit there 15 minutes. Then I move another 15-20 inches all the way around the perimeter till I've soaked the ground around this fig tree out here at its strip line really well. Yep. And it'll do just fine. So the key points of figs: pick the right variety for your growing area. Understand, it's a subtropical bush and tree. Understand, whatever variety you select has to survive the coldest temp you're going to see in your area. Whether that's 20 below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 10. And understand, at a certain temperature, your entire pig is going to die back to ground level. Now, if the ground totally freezes and becomes solid, like it will, like, say, up in some of the northern states, or up in Alaska, pig ain't gonna live. Nope. And that's something I want to know from all my viewers out there who spend the time to listen to Mr. Tom ramble about blueberries and figs. If you got blueberries and figs growing in your area, well, what experiences and advice do you have to give to all of us? Because it's through y'all that many of us learn far more than we learn from these videos. At least I always do. And if y'all have any questions about blueberries or figs, by all means leave them in the comments. If I know the answers, I'll try my best to answer them and get them all back to you. So that's about it on blueberries and figs. And I do hope this answers some of Rick's and his wife, Lula's, questions. Yeah, it probably doesn't tell him exactly what variety to buy and that. But I'm sure he'll send me an email with any questions he has along the way. And that's just fine, as long as he understands Mr. Tom's a little slow and get back to emails sometimes. You know, I do got a life, and y'all only see about 5% of it. So with all that said, me and Cleo here, because Magoo found a shady place to hold up, we're going to call it a day. Oh, there's Magoo. Magoo, what are you doing? You're at the bird bath. You got fresh water in the carport. I mean, it's filter water, boy. What are you over here doing? You over here drinking water out of the bowl here that's got leaves and rainwater in it? Is that tasty? Is that tasty, Magoo? Is it something I need to try? I swear, Kitty, I saw him drinking out of that earlier today. And trust me, him and Cleo and the little kitty, they have a big fine bowl of fresh filtered water underneath the carpet. Yep. Well, I guess he just likes the taste of oak leaf water. So there, y'all. Magoo's about had it for today. So is Cleo. And so is Mr. Tom. It's getting on late in the day. We've been out doing everything, stringing up tomatoes, pruning, organizing, planting, which we'll go over that in another video, spraying, among other things. We're just tuckered out, and I look like, oh, I'm sure once I go in and start editing this video, I'm gonna go, woo, you shouldn't even put that old face of yours on camera. Well, y'all, that's about all I know about blueberries and figs. I do hope from what we've talked about and discussed that it gives you some path to deciding whether, one, you want to put in some blueberries or figs, two, where you need to go to find out the proper variety and make a selection, and three, some tips about growing and that. And as always, if you got questions, you can leave them in the comments, and with time available, Mr. Tom will get to them, as he always does. So y'all, until I see you on the next video, y'all take care out there. Stay safe. And God bless each and every one of you. Goodbye for now. Yep, sun gonna be going down soon. Time to head on in. Cleo, is that your baby? There she is. What's your name, little one? What's your name? What's your name? What are you doing? You're only about 3 or 4 feet away from Papa now. Kitty, kitty, kitty. What's your name, sweetie? Huh? You wanna come over here? You wanna come over here now? No. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Don't be scared. Oh, there she goes. Well, there y'all saw her. That's Cleo's little kitty. Isn't it, Cleo? Is that your kitty? Okay. Looks like she's going back underneath the focus. Yep. There comes Magoo. So, we gotta get on with this. And this is gonna be a viewer request video. So let's get on to what we'll be talking about today.